Oliver sat there at the mouth of his hollow. He tried hard to remember what the wind actually sounded like, but it was impossible now. For 3 days, the Blue Jay chorus had been screaming with a volume that felt like a physical weight against his ears. These birds were not just singing, they were announcing a revolution. They were shrieking about a patch of magic truffles deep in the black swamp. According to the birds, these truffles were the key. Never gathering a walnut again. They promised a future of eternal abundance and zero effort. Oliver looked at the market board nearby. The price of truffle rights had gone from 5 acorns to 500 in a single weekend. That is the hype index in action. It is a mathematical way of saying that the more people shout about an investment, the more likely you are to lose your tail. In the world of finance, attention is not a sign of safety, it is a leading indicator of a crash. I find it funny how we always assume that if everyone is talking about something, it must be important. In reality, the opposite is usually true. Do you ever feel like the only person in the room who is not getting rich on something that makes no sense? That was the vibe in Acorn City. The forest hum had been replaced by a roar. Every branch, every root vibrating with the same story. The magic truffle was the future. It was the end of scarcity. It was a new paradigm. But Oliver noticed something strange. The louder the birds got, the less anyone talked about the truffles themselves. They only talked about the price, who was buying, who was missing out. They were caught in a momentum shift, blinding them to the reality of the swamp. Tully arrived an hour later, vibrating with pure adrenaline, covered in swamp mud. He had a look in his eye that Oliver had seen before, the look of a squirrel who thought he had solved the forest. Tully explained that he had just traded his entire winter stash for a single piece of bark, guaranteed him a share of the truffles. He told Oliver that the birds were the proof of value. He argued that if every bird from the great oak to the edge of the woods was singing the same song, it had to be true. Tully was chasing social proof, ignoring the math of probability. I keep coming back to this idea. News volume is a measure of risk, not value. Do you ever feel the world is screaming at you to buy something before you miss out? That is the forest hum reaching its peak. And in Acorn City, that hum is a warning. Oliver took Tully to see the wise old owl. He lived in the hollow of the ironwood tree. The owl did not pay attention to the birds at all. He just stared at the markings on the bark. He told them every mania has a deafening point, that exact moment when the noise gets so thick you cannot see the actual thing anymore. It drowns out reality. The owl dragged out a piece of research from the humans, a 2025 study, Cao and Geman. They built a hype-adjusted probability measure. They scraped news articles, counted every single word written about stocks, and they found a hard rule. Once the noise passes a certain line, the probability of a reversal is almost guaranteed. More screaming means the truffles are already rotting in the dark. The owl just stared at Tully. He looked sorry for him, made Tully itch. He said the chorus was not a party invite. It was a ticking clock, a countdown. He told them that once attention and social noise hit a certain ceiling, the math locks in. A crash becomes certain. He had a name for it, the attention-adjusted measure. Then he warned them plain and simple. The last paw is always the one buying the story at the exact top, the one who assumes the supply of fools is infinite. Tully just shook his head and laughed, said the owl was just afraid of the future, stuck in the old world of slow gathering and low returns. I wonder why we are so eager to believe the loudest voices in the room. Tully spent the next week acting like royalty, pledged his rights as collateral, borrowed a mountain of acorns, moved into a penthouse on the highest branch. He actually laughed at Oliver, sitting in the quiet, counting brown walnuts. Tully thought he was a genius. His paper number went up every time a bird chirped. He felt like he was redistributing wealth, getting ahead. But all he was really doing was walking backward toward a cliff. Tully was actively ignoring the simplest rule there is. Price eventually has to come back to what it actually does for you. And nobody had eaten a magic truffle, not one. The utility was still a flat zero. It was like buying a map to a treasure chest and never bothering to look if the chest had a lock on it. The forest became a total nightmare. Squirrels were quitting their gathering crews, becoming full-time truffle traders. Nobody was actually going into the swamp to check the truffles. They were just trading the rights to them. The price hit 1,000 acorns per right. The volume of the chorus was now so high that the squirrels had to use hand signals to communicate. This is the point where the hype index reaches its limit. When everyone is already in the trade, there are no buyers left to push the price higher. The supply of fools had run dry. Every squirrel was waiting for someone else to buy them out, but there was nobody left on the sidelines. Then the crisis arrived. It did not explode, it just went quiet. Tuesday morning rolled in, and the blue jays just vanished. No music. The forest fell dead silent. That silence was way scarier than the screaming ever was. Without the noise, the squirrels looked at their bark scraps and froze. One young squirrel hiked into the swamp, came back with a fistful of black mush. The truffles had rotted days ago. They were just normal mushrooms. They just had a really good marketing team. No filling power. Zero. The panic moved faster than a hawk's shadow. Tully bolted to sell. The board was empty. Ask price gone. 3,000 squirrels, all screaming sell. Zero buyers. Liquidity just vanished mid-air. Tully stood frozen, basket of bark in his hands, worth a fortune yesterday, zero today. Paper wealth gone. But the banknote was still sitting there, very real. The penthouse owner tossed him out that same night. Tully crawled back to the forest edge, sat down next to a huge pile of debt and a basket full of trash wood. Look, human history just runs on a loop, always has. We never learn. Mackay wrote about the tulip mania back in 1841. People swapped houses for flower bulbs. They knew they could dump it on a bigger fool next week. Same movie in the 90s .com bubble. Same movie in 2021. Crypto and meme stocks. Social media sent them to the moon. No actual value underneath. I don't know why we keep letting the same trick fool us, but we do. So why do we do it? Over and over? Brains are hardwired for the crowd. You watch your neighbor get rich doing nothing. Internal alarm shuts off. You stop seeing value. All you see is the upward line. Oliver went and found Tully in the mud, led him to his hollow, split his real food. He told Tully that wealth is built in the quiet. It gets destroyed by the noise. The birds are not singing to help you. They sing because they are hungry, and greedy squirrels are the main course. Real wealth doesn't come from finding a dumber buyer. It comes from owning the farms, real companies, assets that make actual things for actual squirrels. You survive winter by stopping the gatherer mindset. You have to think like an owner. We live in a noise machine. Social feeds, 24-hour loops. Everything sounds like a blue jay chorus. But go back to that Cao and Geman study. High news volume is a risk signal. It is not a value signal. When the whole forest is yelling the same thing, you are standing on the highest branch. That is maximum danger. Tune out the shriek. Look at the filling power. What are you actually supposed to buy? Farm ownership shares, real productive things, things that keep on making more stuff. When the central bank pumps cash, it eventually lands on things people want to hold for years. Own those, and you are at the front of the stream. Own the hype, and you are just standing on the shore watching the water rise. Investing is dull. It should be dull. Find real productive stuff. Hold it. Let it grow in the quiet. No chorus necessary. Just patience and healthy skepticism. Want to make it through the next sorting? Be Oliver. Savor the silence. A price tag is just a sticker. Attention is just a shiny distraction. Quit chasing magic tricks. Hunt for real trees. You cannot eat a melody, and winter has no interest in how loud the birds were. Picture Oliver, sitting there quietly. No frustration, no confusion. Just a hard-working squirrel who knows the rules. The game is not collecting hype. It is owning whatever the hype is buying. Get that, and the whole forest changes. You stop looking at the ground for leftovers. You look up. Farm shares become your armor. The chorus becomes the threat you stay away from. Next time the media starts shouting about a can't-miss opportunity, do not cheer. Do not imagine free acorns falling in your lap. Think of Tully. Visualize him sitting in that swamp. Empty baskets, mountain of debt. Then do exactly what Oliver did. Stay in the quiet. Count what you actually have. Buy the farm. Protect your buying power before the chorus becomes a crash. Because in the great forest of Acorn City, winter is always coming, and the only squirrels who survive it comfortably are the ones who knew it is better to own the forest than to just live in it. Oliver stands up from his root. He tunes the birds out. He picks up his real walnuts and heads toward the inner circle. Not to live, to invest. He knows if he wants to win, he has to stop hiding and start playing. He has to swap safe acorns for risky ownership in something real. It terrifies him, but he knows the real terror is sitting still and letting the world get bought from under him. He is done being a victim. He is building a bridge now. Here's the thing about the greater fool theory and the hype index. They're two sides of the same coin. They're the tools the center uses to eat the edge. If you want to make it, you have to stop being the edge. You have to move. In a world of rivers, you own the bridge or you drown. Oliver is not a victim anymore. He's an owner. Every time the birds start screaming, it's an opportunity for the ones who can read the math and a disaster for the ones who just listen to the volume. What side are you on? Waiting for the news to tell you what to do? Waiting for the Blue Jay chorus to give you permission to get rich? If that's you, you're already losing. It's the difference between a hungry winter and a stocked pantry. In Acorn City, we don't gather anymore. We own. We see the noise for what it really is. We know where the real value lives, and we never let our spending power get washed away by a song. The next hype cycle is coming. Are your baskets ready, or are you still listening to the birds? Own. Don't just gather. You know what gets me? We keep falling for the same trap. Every generation thinks they've invented a new way to get something for nothing. They stare at the silver hazelnuts or the magic truffles, and they tell themselves the old rules don't apply to them this time. But they do. They always do. The price finds the filling power eventually, and the quiet squirrels with the real walnuts always end up owning the ones who spent their autumn chasing a song. If you're tired of being the last one holding the empty bag, stick around. We dig into the real plumbing here. We look at the studies, like the one in Frontiers in Artificial Intelligence, because that's where the truth hides, not in the headlines, in the data. And the data keeps saying the same thing. To get rich, you have to get comfortable with the silence. You have to be okay with being the only squirrel not talking at the party. Oliver looks up at the branches. He spots a new bud forming, tiny, brown, completely unremarkable. It will take years to become a tree. It's not going to make him a millionaire by next Tuesday, but it's real. It has filling power, and that makes it worth more than every magic truffle in the swamp combined. He starts to dig, not to hide his acorns, to plant a future. He's not a gatherer anymore. He's an owner, and that's the only move that truly survives the winter in Acorn City.